What is up, everybody? Welcome to the dungeon. I am your host, Analytical Mystic. I'm about to do weekly tarot readings for you guys. We're going to see what the fuck's going on this week. We're going to go through all the zodiac signs, Aries through Pisces. I'll be pulling 2 cards for each sign. I'll pull 1 card for the general energy and another card for your love energy. Because everybody wants to know about love, but not everybody has love in their life. So we're gonna see, what's going on all together. So let's go ahead and just jump into it and get started. Also, if you would like to check out monthly readings, do check out my Patreon. The link is in the description box. We hope to have this month's up within the next week, so go check that out if you would like to see monthly readings. Alright, let's see what's going on with Aries over the next week. What kind of energy will Aries encounter over the next week? Aries, you have the Hierophant. So you're really focused on committing to what it is that you're doing, getting things in order. You may be working on some contracts with other people, having discussions about contracts with other people. You're just at a point in your life where you just want to get your shit together. Basically, you're ready to get your shit together. So you are getting things in order to move forward toward what it is that you want to bring into reality long term. This could involve taking a class or furthering your education. All right, let's see what's going on in your love life, Aries. And you don't have to take a class or go to school to further your education. You can learn things online. A lot of schools actually will refer to YouTube videos. So, there's that. You keep that in mind as you're looking into things. You could save yourself thousands of dollars just by doing a good search on YouTube. Anyways, see what's going on in your love life, Aries. Aries, you have the Ace of Cups. So you're feeling very intensely, very deeply, very emotional right now, whether you're in a relationship or not. You're just feeling very strongly. So let's say if you are single, you are feeling the strong love and attraction for somebody, whether it be somebody you recently met or somebody from the past. You're just overwhelmed. Very, very deep emotional attachment, um, connection and attachment. I'd say it's a connection, but since you aren't necessarily together, it's more so like you're attached to them because you're so fond of each other. Um, so you may be having some trouble letting that go because of how strongly you feel. Um, Another term, other situations, things are going good with this. You're meeting somebody new. You guys are both really into each other, and you're just in that very lighthearted, lovey-dovey phase. Or if you're in a relationship in general, you're in a new phase right now that's kind of lighthearted, and you feel very deeply connected to your partner. So, good times. Good times. What is up, Soldier? Welcome. Good to see you. Moving on to Taurus. Let's see what's going on with Taurus. What kind of energy will Taurus encounter over the next week? What is going on with Taurus over the next week? kind of energy will Taurus encounter? Taurus, you have the Ace of Swords. So I feel like you're cutting a lot of bullshit out of your life right now. You're just really sick of all the excess drama it's really not needed. It's really not needed. It has no real purpose in your life. It's just taking up space in your life, space and time that could be dedicated to something that is more productive, that you get more emotional satisfaction from. So you're saying fuck the bullshit at this point. This could involve some very difficult conversations, or maybe not so difficult for you, but difficult for the other people to hear. Um, so there could be some sharp words, harsh words spoken, but like you really probably don't give a fuck. I mean, because you're cutting the situation out. So even if like it's a very rocky exit, like you don't care if it's rocky because you're out. Either way, you're out, So might as well, like, I would say do a mic drop, but more like a mic throw. You bitch. Oh my goodness. So, if even if you are not completely extricating this person or these people or this situation from your life, you're really having to face the harsh reality and address that. And so, it may be a difficult conversation, but again, like you don't really care how difficult it is. It needs to be addressed. It's like they got to get over it. If their feelings get hurt, they got to get over it because this has to be addressed. And you got to be real about it. You got to talk about the real nitty gritty stuff that nobody wants to talk about for the situation to work out. All right, let's see what's going on in your love life, Taurus. What is going on in Taurus's love life? What is up with Taurus? Taurus, you have the Page of Wands here. So you may be feeling a little feisty in your relationships or your love life area, a little feisty, potentially combative. Well, that's kind of what feisty entails. Um, but it's interesting because some of you kind of flirt this way. So some of you may maybe have met somebody that you're kind of flirting with, and just getting to know them. But yeah, you are one of those people that like picks on people that you care about. It's weird. It's weird. I personally don't get it, honestly. Like, I grew up in a family that does that too, and it just does not make sense to me. Like, why? But I guess for some people, it's their love language. I don't get it, but it is what it is to some people, and this may be your love language. Um, you actually may be being very petty with whomever you're interacting with. Um, and this you need to be a little bit wary of this because you could be too petty. It could be too much. Like, you could be doing too much. It's very possible that you need to pull it back some because you could be doing too much. Um, but you don't care. That's the thing. Like, you don't care. You don't care if you're doing too much. Like, you just like get the fuck over it. Okay, get over it. If you don't like it, bye. Taurus, so feisty. And that is just the attitude you carry in general, whether you are seeing somebody, interacting with somebody or not. You just kind of have this mindset of like, okay, maybe I have a little bit of an attitude, but the right person will love and appreciate me anyways. So, and you got no tolerance for any other nonsense or bullshit. You're just not going to waste your time with it at all. All right, let's move on, Taurus. We gotta move on from your petty ass. Okay. Let's see what's going on with Gemini. Gemini, you have the Three of Cups here. So you may be spending time with friends or loved ones, or, even if they're not necessarily people that you're friends with or love, just people having a good time in general. Maybe they're acquaintances. It's not somebody you talk to on a regular basis. Some of you may be celebrating something finally coming together. Maybe things haven't worked out in this situation in the past, but now it's finally coming together and it's worth celebrating. You're super happy about it. In some situations where there may have been difficulty in the past between you and somebody else, that situation is going to be addressed and worked out. And it will kind of be decided whether or not you want to kind of bury the hatchet and come together again, or if you just want to bury the hatchet and say, fuck it, I never want to see you or have you in my life ever again. Like, either way, the hatchet's getting buried. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Taurus, or Gemini. My bad, Gemini. Let's see what's going on in your love life over the next week. What is going on with Gemini in their love life over the next week? Gemini, you are feeling very direct. You're with the Knight of Swords. You're feeling very simple and direct in regards to the way you are communicating in your love life. This is funny to me because it kind of is the same energy, very similar energy that we just had, where it's kind of like, okay, I may have a mouth, but the right person will freaking get it. So that kind of makes me wonder if that's going to be an energy throughout for the rest of the week. So, in that thought, we'll see how the rest of the readings go. But so yeah, you may be in a situation where you're just kind of, being very blunt and very honest with the person that you are dealing with. And if there needs to be a conversation that needs to be had, like if something's not right, you're going to address it. You're going to call it out. You're not going to just let it be. You're not going to be one of those people that just ignores the situation to keep the peace. No, that's not how it goes. That's not how it goes. If you want anything to like work out, you have to figure out a way to resolve conflict. Because conflict will inevitably arise. Life is not perfect. Things get rough sometimes. So it's just kind of like you've got to learn, or other people do, if you have already, to address the situation, to call out the bullshit, so it can be worked out. And it's not necessary. This may be an issue too. It may not be intended as an attack from your part, but the other person may perceive it that way. So that could cause conflict in regards to something that's already conflicting. So that'll be difficult, but at the same time, it's like the shit still needs to be addressed. It still needs to be talked out about. It still needs to be worked through and worked out. Yeah, see that there. I feel like that's it. Pretty much. That's like whether you are with somebody or not. That's like you gotta hammer shit out. You gotta get that shit out. It's like, it's kind of about, well, getting closure, basically. All right. Let's move on to Cancer. See what Cancer's got going on for the week. What is up with Cancer? What is going on with Cancer over the next week? Cancer, you have the Eight of Cups here. So you may feel like it's time for you to remove yourself from a situation, to walk away from a situation. This is very hard for you. But no matter how hard it is, you know how, like, you know the situation is not healthy, and that there's something about this that you need to let go. But you're having a hard time letting go. Your mind is kind of driving you crazy, and it's leading you to a lot of confusion because you want to let go, but you cannot deny how you feel, and you cannot deny what it is that makes you want to stay in this situation. So you're still experiencing a lot of confusion in regards to this. I feel like some of you are going to be able to successfully remove yourself from the situation, even though you have this confusion, and some of you won't, because you're still so confused. You're not ready to completely walk away. But either way, you are feeling extremely stressed out and having a lot of anxiety in regards to this situation. It's kind of affecting all aspects of your life. Okay, let's see what's going on in your love life. So if this is affecting all aspects of your life, this is something you really need to figure out. Like, if you cannot remove yourself from the situation, if you cannot walk away from the situation, you really need to figure out how to transmute it in a way to where the situation is not detrimental, to these other aspects of your life. Well, Cancer, in your love life, we have the Tower. So some pretty major stuff going on. This could be the end, especially considering the Eight of Cups influence of needing or feeling the need to walk away from a situation. There may have been some information you found out in regards to your love life or the person that you're seeing, and it changed your perspective on things. And at this point, you may feel like you just don't see things the same, and you're inclined to leave all this behind. You want to leave the rubble of the past behind and just kind of rebuild from that, using that as a foundation to rebuild upon. Whether you are rebuilding on that foundation with somebody you are with now or somebody new, it just varies depending on your situation. General energy, individual experiences, you guys. Okay, now let's move on to Leo. What is going on with Leo? What kind of energy will Leo encounter over the next week? What is going on with Leo? You have the wheel, Leo. So there are pretty major changes going on in your life. If there are no like visible changes, there are some major shifts going on behind the scenes, I suppose you could say. And it is steering your life in a completely different direction. So you're at a turning point um, in your life, and although you are going to be naturally pointed in a specific direction, it's still your choice how to move forward. So definitely carefully consider what you choose to do moving forward, and whether or not this is actually good for your life. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Leo. What's going on in Leo's love life? Leo, you have the Seven of Pentacles. So you are weighing your options. You are considering the possibilities of what could happen if you put time and effort and energy into this, and kind of trying to figure out whether or not you feel like the other party is worth putting in the effort. Because, relationships aren't perfect, they need to be worked on. So it's important to have a partner that's willing to work on things with you, to work through things together. So you may be just trying to figure out if this is the type of person you could see um, doing that with, and being on the same page with moving forward, or if it's just time to move on, you know? And if it is time to move on in regards to your love life, what do you want for your love life moving forward? You know? You're trying to figure that out. Because if you're just not sure. You're not sure. If you're with somebody, there's a lot of uncertainty with that. If you are not with somebody, you're not sure whether or not you want to be with someone in general, or if you're just perfectly happy and okay with the way things are now. Still trying to figure it out. But you're going to have some guidance just by the circumstances that occur in your life. They'll naturally give you guidance. But like I said, you have to make the final decision, the final action. Let's move on to Virgo. What is going on with Virgo over the next week? What kind of energy will Virgo encounter over the next week? Virgo, you have the World here. So you've come to a conclusion in regards to a particular situation in your life. This is something that has been an active part of your life for quite some time. It's something you've been working on for a while now. It doesn't have to have been forever, but you have been working on it for a while, and it's just coming to its natural conclusion. And You just kind of, you're in a place of deciding how you're going to move forward. And it seems like this is has been a common energy um, thus far, is just getting to a point where like a major shift and a major change is happening in your life. There's a major culmination, if you will, of events that are changing your life. Like it's all coming together to change your life in a completely different way. And I don't know if this is something that you really expect, but if it gets too much, you could benefit from like writing, be it just like journaling or actually, texting or messaging somebody um, that you can confide in and bounce ideas off of as you're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. All right, let's see what is going on in the love life. Virgo, you have the Fool. So for some of you, you just have no idea what's going on in your love life. Like it's seemingly inactive, but you're open. You're open to meet people. You're open hearted. You're not completely closed off right now. Some of you may be kind of taking a leap in jumping into a relationship that you've been very hesitant um, with. You've been very hesitant with it um, out of fear, a bit, kind of out of fear, at least a little bit out of fear. Um, but you're at a point now where you feel like you want to take the risk, basically. So whether you're seeing someone or not, you feel like you're at a point in your life where you are ready to take a risk on love. So it's just a matter of who it's going to be with. Who is this risk going to be taken with? This is very interesting. I feel like you're very, very open to it right now. Very open to it. Um, some of you are still like, nah, man, nah. But more of you are more open hearted. So I don't know. You just entered a phase where, yeah, you're less closed off. So very interesting. So very interesting. So we shall see where this leads in time, in due time. But if you are with somebody or have been with somebody, you really do. You just wanna have fun with them. You really do. You just wanna have a good time with them, and whether you're together or not, just enjoy each other's company and talking to each other. So cute. That's so cute. All right, let's move on to Libra. What is going on with Libra? What's going on with Libra over the next week? What kind of energy will Libra encounter over the next week? Okay, we have the Hermit. So you're kind of keeping to yourself a little bit. Don't really want to talk to anybody. Not about anything of depth, anything serious. Um, you have a lot on your mind. You kind of want to be alone with your thoughts because you're trying to figure out and work through what it is that you have going on in your mind. Because it's heavy on your mind. And you know that that's why, because you need to work through things. Um, and you can't really do that when there are other people in your face all the time. So you may be actively taking space away from people. If you're not actively doing it, you should. You should kind of take a moment to acknowledge that you got some shit to think about, instead of just avoiding it or acting like it's not there. Um, you could be planning some things, studying, or just reading a lot in general. Kind of enjoying solitude. Very interesting. It's good though. It's good to be okay with spending time with yourself. Okay. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Libra. What is going on in Libra's love life over the next week? What is going on in Libra's love life over the next week? Libra, you have the Ten of Wands. So whatever's going on, you're thinking about it a lot. You feel overburdened, like it's really heavy on your mind, which is, again, probably why you're withdrawing, because, you got to think about this and figure it out. Because you do have a lot of uncertainty on how to move forward from here. Very conflicted, because it's like you have your reservations, but your inclination to move forward in this situation is higher, or it's more prominent. Your inclination to work through this situation. So you could be in stressful situations in regards to your love life right now, and it is really bothering you, but it's not something you want to just like abandon. You're not at that point, but you're trying to figure out if that's the right decision, basically. Um, trying to figure out whether or not this is a healthy dynamic. Is this something that can be worked through in a healthy manner, or is it completely toxic? Um, you're not entirely sure. You're trying to figure it out, work it out inside your mind. If you're not seeing anybody, your past may just be weighing very heavy on you. You like the history of your love life in general. It just may be really bothering you. And again, something that like you might be taking some time to think about, okay, what roles did I play in this? So you may be trying to figure out the roles you played, what you may need to do. Again, if you should work it out, if it's even a good thing to try to work it out. Lots of things to figure out this week. Lots of things to figure it out. But one thing is for sure, it's not something you can get away from. For whatever reason, you just can't get away from it. Life is going to force it in your face until you deal with it. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. All right. Let's move on to Scorpio. What is going on with Scorpio over the next week? What kind of energy will Scorpio encounter over the next week? What's going on with Scorpio? Scorpio, you have the Empress. So you are entering into a new phase in your life, lots of growth going on. Some of you may be spending a lot of time with your mother. Some of you may be finding out that you're pregnant or somebody else that you know around you is pregnant. Um, you could find yourself in a situation where you are having to take care of other people. If not directly, it's just kind of like generally what you're doing. And what I mean by that is if you're not like literally taking care of somebody, like feeding them and stuff like that, you may be kind of just like looking out for them. Like if you're at work or something, you might be like, you just have their back. If somebody is very, like, say if there's somebody new that's there and they're very uncertain and very unsure, you have their back. You're looking out for them. Um, but that doesn't necessarily have to just be with work. Just in general, you may have somebody in your life that you're just looking out for hardcore right now. Some of you may have difficulty getting things off the ground. You may be having delays. And that could be rather frustrating because you're ready to get things started, you're ready to get things going, but you can't do it right away. It can't happen right away. That's frustrating because I think you feel excited about moving forward in your life. Even though you may be unsure of the direction you're moving in, I think you are excited about moving forward um, from where you are. Let's see what's going on in Scorpio's love life. What is going on in Scorpio's love life? All right, Scorpio, you have the Queen of Cups here. So you're feeling very strongly loving towards somebody, feeling very, very um, just kind of overwhelmed by your emotions. Um, you may be offering these emotions to somebody, like you may be actually reaching out and telling somebody how you feel. Just being extra expressive and loving. If you're with somebody, extra expressive and loving. If you're not, you're just feeling, well, even like just in general, like you feel more loving towards people around you in general. But especially with your object of affection, you just feel such a deep level of warmth and love just when you think about them that they just got you. They just got you in the palm of their hands. Um, if you're not with anybody or seeing anybody, I just can't help but think of the song by Queen, Somebody to Love. So I think that you just have a deep longing for somebody that you don't even know who they are yet. You just feel this deep love for somebody that you haven't met yet. I know that may sound weird, but I think that some of you will understand um, what I mean. Like, I don't know, like if you're the type of person that writes poetry, it's like you've been writing love poems your whole life, but it's the same love, but it's like there's been different people in your life that have triggered the inspiration, but they've never been the actual object of it. You just have this deep love and affection and desire for connection that exists at all times, whether you have somebody in your life at all, or at all, or not. But that's something that you don't like people to know. I think that you don't really like a lot of people to know how lovey-dovey you can be, um, how the way you feel is what the, I guess, ideally romantic would feel. It's like the things that are wrote about in poetry. It really is. It's poetic. The way you love is poetic. All right, let's move forward to Sagittarius. All right, let's see what's going on with Sagittarius. What is going on with Sagittarius over the next week? Sagittarius, you have the Ace of Swords, so it looks like you might be in quite a feisty mood as well. Don't remember if it was Taurus or Gemini who had this vibe, but it's the, I'm going to say what I need to say, and if it hurts your feelings, well, that sucks for you. You're in your tough titty said the kitty when the milk went dry phase. And we know that you're really good at being harsh with your reality, with your honesty. So you're going to be an expert at your verbal swords play this month. Kind of feel bad for whomever you interact with on this level. Not saying like you're going to be going fighting people like crazy. I'm just saying that the people that have to deal with that side of you, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough, to put it lightly. So you don't care. You don't care. Like you don't care if their feelings get hurt. Especially if it's the truth. Especially if it's the truth. You don't care. But you're like, what? This is just the truth. The truth hurts, Man, you can be so harsh sometimes. And I think that you might be a little more, I think you might have the tendency to be harsh more than usual over the next week. And you may also find yourself just kind of cutting ties with some people in your life, just because you don't feel like they're bringing anything into your life of value. And this is not to say that like if people can't bring anything of value to your life, they have no purpose, but it is at the same time. Like you may have people in your life that they have no real role to play in your life at that moment. If anything, they're just like a supporting character. But if like you're spending all your time with a supporting character, it's a lot of time that you're kind of wasting. Okay, yeah, that does sound harsh. All right, let's move on to your love life. Sounds harsh. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Sagittarius. Man, I feel bad for whoever pisses you off this week. All right, let's see what's going on in Sagittarius's love life. I do think that growth will come out of whatever conversation is had, no matter how harsh it may be. It'll eventually lead to growth. In regards to your love life, you have the Ace of Wands. So some of you may be feeling a lot more frisky than usual over the next week, whether you actually have somebody to express this with or not. It's feeling a little extra frisky. Want to spend a little bit more time in bed, cuddling. Some of you may be actually very, very, very sexually frustrated right now. If you don't have somebody to express this with, it is very, very frustrating. But you know what? I advocate for self-care, so just don't spend too much time with that self-care. Um, there's nothing wrong with a little self-care, you guys. Um, but yeah, just in general, you may have met somebody, and yeah, like you may be wanting to get frisky, but you're also kind of excited about getting to know this person in general. Like this person seems like they're someone that you could actually have a really fun time with, really fun time with. I think with some of y'all, it's not. I think with some of y'all do have a genuine affection for this person because you don't have time for bullshit right now. So, you're going to be straightforward and honest about what's going on. And that is out of affection. No, it really is if you think about it. It's very considerate to allow the person you're with to decide whether or not they want to just be doing things for fun or serious. And if you are just looking for fun, it's actually very polite to let the other person know so that they don't get their heart involved, and you can have fun. Things don't get crazy. So, just something to take into consideration moving forward on your journey to have lots of fun. And just be safe. Be safe about things because you know what this leads to. If you don't take the necessary precautions, this could lead to like a person. So, just be careful. All right, moving forward, be careful. Yes, yes, I did Taurus a long time ago, sir. I do believe we are moving on to Aquarius. Actually, you know what? Capricorn. Capricorn comes after Sagittarius. Welcome, CBP. Good to see you again. You can always go rewind later. Okay. Let's see what is going on with Capricorn over the next week. What is going on with Capricorn over the next week? What kind of energy will Capricorn encounter? Capricorn, you have the Page of Cups. I feel like you're going to be very, very talkative over the next week, very bubbly. It's just more than usual. You're more prone to, open to having conversations than usual. You just want to have a good time and start the year off very lighthearted. You don't want to take things too seriously, um, which is cool. It's very cool. I think internally, things are going to get crazy this year, so you're just trying to enjoy the calm before the storm, basically, and just like enjoy life in general. Be lighthearted and just have fun. There may be some situations where you and someone else are kind of having a conversation after having a dispute. So there may be, one of those going on, at least one of those things going on. But you may find yourself challenged by more than one person to kind of hammer out misunderstandings. And it can be a pain in the ass at first because sometimes there are more misunderstandings that come out of trying to explain the misunderstanding. But as long as you continue to explain, eventually there will be an understanding. You just got to be patient and with the other person, but also be patient with yourself, and hopefully the other person will be patient with you if they're not fuck them. You know, you're trying to be respectful about the situation here. You're trying to be polite and, you know. Oh, goodness. So if it's not reciprocated, well, fuck them. That's how you feel. But for the most part, you know, you're all about having a good time this week. Some of you may be having birthdays. Happy. I know my nephew his birthday is tomorrow. So happy early birthday, nephew. I don't think he watches this, but still. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. Okay. Well, okay, I'm not really surprised, Capricorn. We have the Queen of Cups, so I feel like, yeah, this is extending into your relationships. Very loving, very affectionate. I don't really know why. You know, you're just in a loving and affectionate mood. You want to people, you want people to know that you care about them. You want the people you care about to know how important they are to you. I think something may have happened that highlighted this for you because you're not always one to be affectionate and lavish affection on other people. It's not really something you always do. So for you to kind of be so loving and affectionate, just in general, it compounds in regards to your love life. You know, if you're with somebody, you are being extra affectionate with them. You want to be extra close to them at this point. You know, if you're not with somebody, you have that longing, that desire I kind of described with Scorpio, where it's like you have this love, all this love there for somebody that you haven't even met yet. But it's something I do want to say you need to be careful with in regards to that. And I wish I had said with Scorpio, is like sometimes you're so ready to give that love to somebody that you give it to the wrong people too fast. So you definitely need to be careful when it comes to that situation, because that's where kind of like the love bombing could really, really get you. Because you just somebody to love, you know, as Queen sings, or as Freddie Mercury sings. So yeah, very affectionate, very loving in life and in your relationships. Life in general. Whatever, you get it. You get it. All right. We have Aquarius. Let's see what is going on with Aquarius over the next week. What kind of energy will Aquarius encounter? What is going on with Aquarius over the next week? Aquarius, you have the Knight of Wands. I feel like you are very hyper. So you have a lot of energy. This week would be a good time to get things done. So anything that requires a lot of effort to get done and that you've been putting off because it's so much, now's a good time to tackle that. You'll be able to get through it a lot faster than you think. And again, you have the energy to do it. Like you may find that you have too much energy. So you may need to find ways to burn this off. So you're going for a walk and, you know, stuff like that would be a good way to kind of get that out. You need to find some sort of catharsis, because I'm getting kind of the mental image of somebody sitting down, but they keep like moving their leg because they're just so anxious to do something. So it'd be definitely good to try to find some sort of outlet for that, be it something to do or trying to calm yourself down, trying to center yourself, because like they're there may not be anything to do. So the best thing you can do is work on you. I think now will be a very creative time for you as well. You might have a lot of ideas. Take note. Journal. Because your mind could be moving very, very fast right now, but that's not necessarily typically how it goes. So you may be one of those people who is very slow for a while, and then all of a sudden their mind just goes crazy, and they're super fast and getting a lot done, and then kind of back and forth between that. In which case you're at that super fast phase. I think that would could also be in some scenarios referred to as mania, but whichever way it manifests in your life, hey, it's just there. You have that nervous energy. Let's see what's going on in your love life, though, Aquarius. What's going on in Aquarius's love life over the next week? What's going on in Aquarius's love life over the next week? Aquarius, you have the King of Wands in regards to your love life. So yeah, you're at a point right now where you would like to go out and meet people. You're on the prowl. You're ready to pursue, whether you are male or female. You're ready to pursue. You want to be with somebody, and you're gonna find somebody to be with. Whether this is temporary or long term, you're not really looking for long term right now. But if it turns into long term, that's cool. But right now, you're really just looking to have fun. Something quick, something in and out. This may be how you're trying to get rid of that anxious energy, trying to burn off that energy, you guys. So it's like some of you are like, I'll just get it. I'll take it where I can get it. Honestly, some of you are like, okay, turn around so that I don't have to see your face. And I can imagine you are whoever I want you to be. Oh my God, that's horrible. That's horrible. But I mean, some of you are on that level. Wow. Anyways. You're very direct about what you want. Very straightforward. You're not beating around the bush. You have no reason to lie. You have no reason to hide. Even if you do have reasons to, you're not. And what I mean by that is like, if you're one of those people that, you're seeing multiple people, like if you're married and stepping out, like you don't care if your partner knows that you're married. You're like, yeah, I'm married, so what? Let's still do our thing, or the other way around. They may not care that you're married, your partner, the person you're married to, may not care that you're stepping out or whatever. But even if they don't, like, even if they do care about this stuff and don't like it, you're still being straightforward and honest about doing it. You're like, yeah, this is going on. It's kind of like, take it or leave it. Like, this is where I'm at right now. If you want to stick around, cool. If you don't like it, there's the door. You know what you want right now. And I don't think you want anything too serious at this moment. So even though you know exactly what you want, it's not something you're serious. You're not serious. You're not in a place of where you're trying to commit long term to somebody. You are at a level of maturity where you would be open to falling for whomever you're hooking up with, but that would not be your intention going to it. So it's like, you're old enough to understand that you know, sometimes people get attached over time after like hooking up or whatever. So you could potentially have something like that. Um, or somebody that you're exclusively hooking up with. I don't know. I feel like with some people, there is some level of commitment to a lack of commitment. So, like an exclusivity, but not a commitment. Because at the end of the day, you're just trying to have fun. You're just trying to have fun. You don't want anything serious, and you're letting everybody involved know what's going on. I'm being honest. So. Can they fault you for being honest? No. Can they fault you for all the other fucked up shit? Probably, yeah. But at least you're being honest about it. Alright, let's move on to, last but not least, our Pisces. Still Pisces. Let's see what's going on with you over the next week. What's going on with Pisces over the next week? What kind of energy will they encounter? What's going on with Pisces? What kind of energy will Pisces encounter over the next week? Right, Pisces, you have the Page of Wands. So you may be in a very playful mood. I get the jester vibe. So you may be joking a lot. If you're the type of person that likes playing pranks, you may be doing a lot of little pranks. You're just trying to have a good time, trying to be lighthearted, trying to start out the year lighthearted and playful. You know, trying to set the tone, basically. You may be dealing with a lot of phone calls, a lot of communication, phone calls, emails, you know, whatever, texts, all the different forms that communication can come through. You may be doing a lot of it, or all of it, all the different forms, but a lot of it. So a lot of talking, a lot of communicating. But you know, that kind of makes sense because like we're just getting past the holidays, so it's kind of like, okay, break's over now, back to business. Now we got to get back to discussing all the work stuff. We got to get back to discussing all the serious, not fun stuff. So, you know, but you're trying to make it not so serious. If it's like super serious, like stuff that's super boring, you're trying to make light of everything. So it's like, okay, this is boring. This is a drag. But you know what? At least this is funny. You know, you may be finding ways to make jokes out of the situation. Um, kind of, you know, and so if anything does go awry, you're just going to try to find a way to make light of it for you personally. Like you're doing this for yourself to be able to function through all the obstacles, but it's actually also helping the people around you. Just as a side effect, it's unintentional for you to be helping them, but it is helping for the same reason it's helping you, because it's like, yeah, life's not fun and not good, so let's just try to make the best of it. Let's try to have fun and, you know, make jokes. And I'm imagining like a kitchen at a restaurant, you know, that's a really, really, really busy kitchen. There's just constant movement going on, but everybody's still laughing and making jokes and stuff as they're doing everything. So that vibe. You got a lot going on. It can be very, very stressful at times, but you're still finding ways to laugh and smile. So that's good. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Pisces. What is going on in Pisces' love life over the next week? What's going on with Pisces in their love life over the next week? Okay, it's time to face reality. We have the Ace of Swords in our love energy. So it's time to face reality. It's time to freaking talk. Sorry, Pisces. It's time to face the reality of the situation. It's time to face the truth. Um, this could be very harsh. This could be very harsh. I feel like some conversations could occur where there's a lot of petty back and forth. And some things are going to come to an end. You know, some situations in relationships will not survive this. I'm just going to be real. Some relationships should not survive this. They shouldn't. Even if they do, it may not be a good idea, because if there is these this pettiness involved in the arguments, that's generally a sign of toxicity, which is generally not a good thing when it comes to relationships. So, in some cases, it could be a blessing in disguise if the situation comes to an end. In other cases, it could give you an opportunity to gain greater clarity in regards to the other person, in regards to your relationship and where y'all stand. And kind of take things to the next level. But I think with more people, that this could definitely very easily turn negative. Definitely very easily turn negative. Because I just kind of see you not really caring. If feelings are hurt, you don't care. Even if your feelings are hurt, like, say, if you know that if you say something to somebody, they're gonna come back with something else, and it's just gonna get you riled up. You don't care. At this point, you don't care. You're like, I don't care if you say something that pisses me off more. I'm gonna say what I want to say. I will be heard, basically. And this could benefit your relationship, if you do really need to be heard and your partner is open to hearing you. But with other people, with situations that are not healthy and that are toxic, this is going to cause problems and could lead to separations. So, just being real. That's what I see. Just being real, you guys. All right. That is everything. Awesome. I'm so glad that you were able to catch it. I don't know if you've gone back to listen to Taurus, but I have found it's easier to switch through the signs because I have my banners. So even when I don't do timestamps, which I haven't been doing, it's easy to move through with the banners. Anyways, I'm glad you made it. Thank you, Soldier. Thank you to everybody who has come through. I appreciate every single one of you. And do come back next week to see what else is going on. Also, remember to go subscribe to my Patreon. Again, the link is in the description box. I'll have monthly readings up there soon. So y'all can go check them out. Also, if you want to see last month's, we got that up there too. Also, anyways, I will see you guys later next week.